Our final catechism questions for our older kids from the very end of this prayer section. So remember, we started off at the beginning of this book in the orange section with how can we even know that there is a God, right? And then we got into the yellow section, the creed. If there is a God, now we can establish there's a God and we say that we believe in him. What does it mean to believe in him? What do we believe? So we march through the articles of the creed. So we know there's a God and we believe in him. How do we celebrate that? How do we live that liturgically as a community? That's the orange section, the sacraments, right? These 7 sensate encounters with this God that we believe in. So if we know that there's a God, we believe in this God, and we celebrate this liturgically, how do we live our lives outside of the liturgy? That's the blue section, right? Morality, the 10 Commandments. How should we live in the world? And if we know that there's a God, we believe in this God, we live it liturgically, we live it morally in our lives, how do we have a relationship with this God? That's the green section, that's prayer. And now we're in the final section of this prayer section, where it's really some catch-all questions. They don't all kind of relate together except that they're all about prayer. Right, one talks about the Psalms. Psalms is one of the longest books in the Bible. It's right in the middle, roughly the middle of the Bible. It's an Old Testament book. There's 150 of these things, and they're songs that were around in ancient Israel. King David wrote a bunch of them, and a bunch of other folks wrote some of them. The early church has prayed them and sung them. We still sing them today. The technical second reading at Mass is a song. It's the responsorial psalm right after the first reading and before what we actually call the second reading. But it's from the Bible. It's from the book of Psalms. And they're these awesome emotion-filled prayers set to music to God. So it's worth reading some of the Psalms and you'll hear anger and frustration and joy and excitement and every human emotion you can imagine are in these Psalms. So they're really cool things to check out. My favorite question in here is question 157. How do you bless someone or something? We've probably all seen priests and deacons bless things, right? Especially at the end of Mass when they make the sign of the cross over the whole congregation, right? What I think is cool about this is this. Parents, you have the spiritual authority to bless your children. You are the priests of your household, and you, by the office of being a parent, you have the authority to bless your kids. It can be as simple as tracing a sign of the cross on their head and saying, "May God bless you," or it can be a little bit more elaborate. I try to bless my kids every night at bedtime. Most often it's a simple blessing, "May God bless you," or sometimes it's a longer formulaic blessing from the Bible. "May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he look upon you kindly and give you peace." It's from the book of Numbers. But sometimes I'll pray blessings over them spontaneously and try to pray that God will lead them to know him and lead them to understand their purpose in life and to grow in wisdom and stature, and bless them in some issue that they're working on now. You know, bless you to understand math better because it's frustrating you, or bless you to get along with your friends better, or whatever. My kids, especially those last blessings, my kids love them because they love hearing that affirmation from me as a dad and calling down the blessing of God upon them. So parents, bless your kids. Kids, bless your rooms. You've got holy water at home, hopefully. Sprinkle that water around your room. You've got the authority to bless your own space as well. All right, so that's blessings. Then we get into the Glory Be prayer. It's a short prayer of praise to God. And then the last question, why do we end all of our prayers with amen? Amen is this emphatic, yes, this is true, I believe. And it's the way that we end all of our prayers. And so it's an appropriate way to end our faith formation year. Amen.